One of the biggest issues I find in relationships is that people are, I don't like to say it, but they're a little bit desperate for love. They're really wanting love. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they haven't fostered their own sense of self-love to start with. Because that needs to be our foundation. We feel self-love, and then we go out there and meet someone else who loves themselves, and we join together and have a lovely time. But if you haven't got self-love, then honestly, you're going to be trying to get the love from the other person. And that makes for a subtle or not so subtle neediness and wantingness. And what that also does is that means there's an exchange that goes on. I'm feeling empty, can you please give me the love? And then the other person's feeling empty and you give them the love. That makes love as an exchange. And there's no such thing, like love doesn't work like that. We need to have the love within ourselves. So in order not to have those needy relationships that can end in codependence where two people are really needing each other, if you can connect with your own sense and source of love within yourself and then stand on that foundation, then you're coming from a good place when you go into a relationship. You're not going to be trying to get something from another person. Related to that, in relationships, also what I find is that some people have come from either families or other past relationships where one person was actually really needy and they've suffered because of that. It's felt like suffocating, it's all too much, a bit imposing, this person is always wanting stuff from me. What that leads to is someone who is, well, classically we call them a commitment phobe because they don't want to be in a relationship. They get so close and okay, I think that's enough now. And understandable because their experience of love is that it comes up really close and then it wants something from you. So imagine someone who's had that experience and then someone who's needy of love. That's not going to work. And it ends up in these relationships where one person is saying, let's get more committed, let's talk about the relationship. And the other person is like, oh, I'm not quite sure, I think I need space, it's not you, it's me. And it ends up in all that sort of dialogue. The antidote to that is, like I've said, for this person to get connected with their own love so they don't need it from the other person. And from this person also they have to get connected with their own sense of love and their own sense of connection inside themselves. Then they don't have to feel like they need to push the other person away because they're feeling safe within their own self. This doesn't become such an assault. So it's the same answer. Connecting with ourselves is the antidote to those types of push-pull issues in relationship. In order to connect with ourselves, honestly, it is so simple and yet so incredibly difficult for people to do. Because to connect with ourselves, you need a little bit of space, a little bit of time where you're not busy, you're not stressed, you're not engaged with all the things, the 10,000 things there are to engage with in the world. And people find this incredibly difficult. Honestly, I can ask them to take a little bit of time and they'll come back again and again and go, no, it hasn't been possible, I've just been too busy. Even if it's just 5 minutes, just can't find the time because everything seems like it's really important and taking them away from taking that time to connect with themselves. Because all it takes is a little bit of time to just stop and just ask yourself, how am I actually feeling? What's going on with me? What's happening inside here? Just those basic questions in a space where there's no one else needing anything from you, there's no other distraction, no other activating energy from social media, etc. Just a little bit of quiet time to ask those questions and then stop and feel, so what is going on for me? What am I feeling? What am I dealing with? What are the challenges been? That just starts to settle you and connect you with you. And then I recommend breathing is always great because with breathing, we're doing it all the time, but we actually have a choice about how we breathe. And most of us, without realizing, we're doing a breath that's quite activated and quite busy and often quite stressed because our breath will match what's going on there in the outside world if we don't pay attention to it. What we can actually do instead is go, I'm going to make my breath gentle and relaxed and quiet and just breathe like that. That's what our nervous system wants, that's what our body wants, that will take us down and help us connect with ourselves again. Just a gentle breath. So connecting just means gentle breath and a little bit of space to ask yourself those basic questions. So simple and yet often so hard to do.